Hey guys, I am John Carrick, and today we are doing 100 Bullets number 16. And this is a decent cover. It's Curtis and Lewis Hughes being hassled by Agent Graves down here in the Reflection. Brian Azzarello, Eduardo Risso. This is as good as comics get, and it's a little bit of an indulgent book, but we're over a year in. Okay, this is 100 books. This is a long epic, and because it was a hit right from the get-go, and because they maintained the schedule, like that's the other thing, is they're on time. I don't remember this book being consistently late all the time, and it wouldn't have mattered if it was, because it's an original non-superhero book. So, this is issue 16. For anything else, this would feel, it doesn't feel like nothing happens, but it's kind of an indulgent issue. It's an indulgent episode. This whole first page is one of Lewis's friends stopping by the convenience store where his mom works and asking if she's seen him. She says no, he hasn't been by in weeks. He's out staying with his father, and I don't ever see him anymore. She's really upset. And so here is Curtis and Lewis doing their bit, father and son getting to know each other for the first time. And Curtis is a bagman for a loan shark. He's out collecting debts for this guy named Nino Rigo. I think his name is Nino. I definitely know his name is Rigo. I remember that. And look at this very first panel right here. Eduardo Risso is really leaning into the art. This girl doesn't just look like she's getting punched. She looks like she's getting stabbed. Doesn't she? The way the hand is turned, the way the hand looks like it's holding something. This is an intense book. There's a lot going on all the time. Here we get, oh yeah, this is a good bit. Here we get Curtis giving Lewis an envelope with $500 and says, you ride around, and he says, what are you paying me for? I ain't done nothing. And he says, you ride around with me, and if you've got my back, the back gets paid. And then he challenges him to count it. And he's like, what, I can't trust you? And he's like, you can never trust a man who gives you money in an envelope. You always have to count it right there in front of him. And if it ain't all there, hand it back. And he says, that way, you and he both get to keep face. You don't have to go up to him a few days later and accusing him of shorting you. And he gets a chance to do right. He could say it was a mistake. You're giving him the opportunity to say it was a mistake. Here they go into a bar, and the bartender points this guy out in the back to Curtis. He goes back there, says hello. The guy gives him some money, not a lot, like $60. And then they go out to the parking lot where Curtis and Lewis hotwire the car and steal it. Now, you don't know that this is the same car. He hasn't said anything to him about it. But presumably it is the same car, because once they get it going... Oh, there's a nice bit here too, where Curtis asks, or Lewis tells him, hey, why don't you let me drive this one? He goes, no way. Look at you and look at me. Imagine you're a cop, and look at you and look at me, and look at you behind the wheel of this car. That's why profiling is so easy, he tells him, right down here at the bottom. That's why profiling is so easy. Because you look like a criminal. Here we meet up with the guy who set Curtis on a job with a musclehead that he did not want to get robbed by the robber. And Curtis is selling him the car. He's telling him it's not stolen, it's a payment for a debt. And how much can you get for it? A couple grand, a few grand. Stop by in a couple days. Now they stop by Rigo's. Rigo is playing pool, having an Asian girl take the shots for him. He's sitting there with oxygen and a hearing aid. Does he have oxygen? No, he's just got the big Coke bottle glasses and a cane. But this guy, look, the way Eduardo Risso draws these characters is every bit as good as the writing. They've got so much personality. A superhero artist usually can't do this. Usually this is beyond their skill set. And you know what? I don't care about the inset panels. I don't care about the lack of panel borders. I don't care about any of it. None of that kicks me out of this comic. None of that takes me out of this comic. It's so good that none of that matters. It's indulgent, but it's okay. It's okay. And so they're having a conversation about a guy who owes Rigo 120 grand, and he says, I need you to go over there, and if he doesn't have it, that's it. No more time for this guy. He doesn't say kill him, but you got to get the money tonight. And so they head out after a girl takes a couple more shots. And there's something else happens here. I'm trying to remember. It wasn't too important. But they head over to this guy's place, and he owns a Philly cheesesteak shop. Like the last place this town needs is another cheesesteak shop. Of course, it's a little late now. And Curtis and Lewis explain that if you don't have the cash, that's it. We're going to burn the place down. And Curtis has what looks like a can of gas. He's turning to start dousing the place, and this guy pulls a shotgun. Now, look, if you're going to put an ad in, this right here is the place to put it. Not right here. This is a 2-page Vampire Hunter D ad that could have just as easily been there, or right here, but it can't be right here because this is up against a 2-page ad. The editor is phoning it in. The editor is phoning it fucking in because this should be the end of a page that makes you want to turn the page or turn the ad so that you get this on the next page. And Curtis is shocked and says, didn't I tell you never to bring a gun? And he says, yeah. And then Curtis says, well, I'm fucking glad you did. I'm so glad you did. And Lewis says, is he alive? Please tell me he's not dead. Curtis says, you shot him in the head. He's dead. And then they get a little bit about, I never killed anyone before. I can't believe how easy it is. And he's, yeah, that's the point. It's easy. It doesn't take no effort at all. And then this guy shows up, and he's got the money. Right after Lewis finds a bag full of ecstasy under the counter. So this guy walks in and is like, hey, I'm just here to do business. I don't care if it's with him, if it's with you guys. Here's my money. I'm here to buy those drugs. And the guy's dead. They take the money. He takes the drugs, and everyone goes home happy. Lewis goes home to see his mom for the first time in a few weeks. She's super excited to see him. She says that his dad's cleaned him up. She can't believe it. Oh my God. She's probably second guessing throwing him out in the first place because they have not seen each other since he had the kid. You could say it's just blacks, but you could also say it's women in today's modern culture who are only too quick to say, I don't need you. I can do it without you. You only get to say that once. So yeah. Lewis has to walk into the house and find his cousin from Miami with his girlfriend is visiting. That's never a good thing. I know some movie that I've seen that in recently. What was it? I'm trying to remember. It's some older movie. Anyhow, Curtis goes home with the cash. He doesn't have to give it to Rigo. The guy's dead. The guy paid his debt with his life. But he might. And then he gets a knock at the door. And it is, of course, Agent Graves. And this is great writing and great art. Curtis makes Graves talk to him in the hallway. Doesn't let him into his place. How come you sent my son to kill me? This is just a solid book. It would feel indulgent, but it's issue 16. So we're obviously rolling It's a good story. It doesn't matter that there's lots of characters because every scene is good. Every scene is good. There's not a wasted scene in here. In every scene, the main character has to make a decision that changes everything forever. Changes it forever. This is really well done. This is as good as comics get. No superheroes, no nothing. Just, just a story about people. Just about people. Today's conflicted card is the Five of Clubs. This is a lot like the story a little bit. You run, you live. Yeah, I think you essentially run is the phrasing of where you're at. An end of the world community of about 40 people living in secret up in the mountains, doing very well for yourselves. And the rest of the world is chaos. There is a military dictatorship that is trying to reestablish law and order. And they are setting up cities. And you have a young family who just recently joined you, a family of 4, so 2 kids, 2 parents. And they, for whatever reason, have decided they want to leave the group and go back to the city where the military is now taken over. The military is demanding everyone turn in people who are living outside the borders of the whatever and confiscating resources and whatnot. And so this young family absolutely will turn you in. You know it. If you let them go, they will. And just reading it, I also know something about the team of people writing these cards because of the way this is phrased. I know that they either have a bitch-made guy, a homosexual, or a woman, or all 3 on the team composing the wording for these cards. Because this is a woman. This is a woman who's decided that it's too much for her. The kids aren't making this call. The guy isn't making this call. This is the wife. This is a wife who runs her husband because he's bitch-made. You only get to tell someone, get the fuck out once. You only get to tell them, if you're a person with any sort of backbone, someone only says that to you once. That's the world you got to live in. And here's another thing I wanted to talk about. If you're making comics, part of me feels like it's a shame this never got a movie or TV show, but comics should not, the goal of a comic book should not be a movie or TV show. If it is, don't fucking do it. Don't do it. When I was ready to get into the professional world, my art skills were not such as, and my time was so limited as to I did not have the ability to level up fast enough to get a job professionally selling my own written comic. I knew that. That's for me that was the line. I had to be, I don't want to take a budget from someone else. I suppose I could have let someone else draw my comic, but that just didn't happen. And even though I tried to do that for Marvel, once I realized what they were doing, I was very glad to step aside and let them continue on their merry way. And I would do my thing, which is I'm much prouder and I'm much happier for where I am. The journey, it's all about the journey. Legacy of a Mad Scientist, Legend of Ashley Fox, 2 awesome novels. And look, if you're writing, I want to read it. I want to encourage it, especially if you're a white man and you're interested in getting into building a studio, an entertainment studio for games, movies, TV, comics. I want to do all of it. That's what I'm doing, and I'm going to find people. I've already found a huge group of people who want to do this. We don't all have the same politics, but that's fine. We don't need to. You just need the community. And I can promote my stuff to them, and they can promote their stuff to me, and everyone's happy. We used to have that in this country, but what has changed is it's become so much easier to do this now. It's become so much easier that guys like me, I know that I don't have the art skills to do 100 comics. I could easily write 100 comics. I've got them here. This is probably 200, 100 for each of these. And I've just hit page 303 for my new story, my 3rd novel. So And my art's getting better, but I'm not aiming for 100 issues. We're going to do 3 prequels. I've got an artist working with me. He could do 100 issues if we had a budget. But taking a budget from someone has means a lot more now than it did back then. Now it's become obvious about what's going on, I just want to talk about comics. One of the things I saw in yesterday's issue, I don't want to get off into who's to blame for all of this right now. One of the things I saw in one of yesterday's issues is in one of the top panels, they had stacked balloons so you could tell who spoke first. That was great. That's definitely something. And Lewis's head had been inserted between a couple of the balloons. So it broke the frame of one of the balloons, which was also fucking awesome. But that comic is in the box, the shoebox underneath the tablet. So the tablet is where we are recording this. So yeah, don't do a comic to get a budget from someone else. Don't do a comic with the hopes, or write a novel with the hopes that someone's going to come along and turn that into something else. Because they're only going to do less than. If they don't want to involve you, John Vasquez said, a lot of people have approached me to do a film for Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, but they always want someone else to direct it. And I don't understand that. So that's the attitude to have. That's the right attitude to have. The comic is its own thing. The story is its own thing. So the one I'm writing right now, I'm not writing as a comic book script. A comic book script is nothing, but a novel is something. If we can turn a novel into comic books, then that's worth doing. I can't write a comic book script that can't be given to you guys for free as something worth reading or something worth listening to. These are also audiobooks. You can buy them on Amazon as paperbacks. Smashwords, the ebook is for free. The ebook is $1 on Amazon. But they're also out here as audiobooks for a limited time only because they won't be here forever. So it is going to go away. And yeah, so what do you do with a family who wants to leave? Sorry about that. What do you do with a family who wants to leave your community and is going to go right back down the hill and tell the military where you are so that they can send jeeps and trucks and soldiers to raid your camp? Do you murder that wife in front of her husband and children? Do you murder all 4 of them? Do you send them back and abandon your camp? I think that's what I would do. I would strike camp. I would pack everyone up, and as they go down the hill, we go further up the mountain. And I would have them see us go. And I would explain to them that, yes, you're leaving, and we will not stay, and we will never speak to you again. You asked, and yeah, we're not going to hold you here. We're not going to kidnap you. But now this is forever. This is forever. We're not your friends. If we ever see you again, I'll shoot you. That's exactly what I would say to her. Because that's the woman. And then she would start to cry, and the kids would be unhappy. And then I would pack up all those other 40 people. And maybe they would say, no, we're not going to leave. And well, then you're all going to get shot by the military. So I think we are in the weak people make hard times part of civilization right now. A whole lot of you are weak people. And really, this channel's not for you, if that's you are. I'm doing this not for political gain. I'm doing this for my own peace of mind, so I don't have to do politics. Because when I sit and draw my elf and my exorcist girl, it's not political. It's not political at all. That's just good versus evil. Good versus evil goes above politics. Politics is tribal. Tribal is under good versus evil is easy. That's the very top of the pyramid, right? Then you have tribes, which is family. Then you have country, and well, religion is God's in there too, but country and everything else. So it's, but good, right and wrong is the very top. So, I don't have to do politics in comics. I can just do good and bad. And it's worth it. It's better. It's more honest. I hate the way I sound myself in some of these, but the way things are going right now, there's a lot of people in society, in white societies, who don't belong there, who haven't earned the right, by becoming civilized. There's a lot of uncivilized people in the civilized world. And, it's going to shake itself out. See you guys tomorrow.